Oi, love.
Oi.
So I'm down at Harrods, yeah?
Right, yeah.
I'm shopping.
Right, yeah.
I'm looking for... They got bare shit. I'm looking for nice things, right?
Right.
Like a scarf, fucking peacock, whatever.
Right, yeah.
I'm going up the escalator.
Right, yeah.
I'm there with the lass, a young bird, right? Some girl,
Right.
as the Americans call it.
Right, yeah.
I'm going up the fucking escalator. I look across. I see there's this other bird, this old fucking lass going down the escalator. She giving me the eyes.
Right, yeah.
I says, "Oi, babe, you recognise that? I reckon that's fucking Lisa Vanderpump." She checking me out. She looking at me fucking Corey. Fuck is she on about?
Right, yeah.
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 Right. Yeah, fucking Lisa Vanderpump.
Right, yeah.
Fucking staring me up and down. I'm going up the escalator at Harrods. She fucking going down, looking at me, giving me the fucking business. I had me shades on. I'm looking at her. She don't realise I'm looking at her, looking at me.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. My father's next to me. After the fact, he had the gall to say, "Oh, you see that reality TV star? I reckon she was looking at me on the escalator." I said, "Hey, Pops. I said, Pops. Wait, Pops. So my father did have the gall. Lisa Vanderpump on the escalator at Harrods is looking in my general direction, staring me up and down. After the fact, my dad says, "You see that old fucking lady with the Botox face? I think she was checking him out." Right, sorry. I don't know what's gotten into me there. I fucking lost my accent there for a second. You know, I've been in London a little bit now, and I've spoken to maybe 2 lads who sound exactly like this. Nobody else does. I met Afghans. I met a lovely lad from Iran. There was a big sign in the city centre said "Happy Ramadan." I says, oi, the West is falling, innit?
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, we're in London. We're going to do a podcast, aren't we? Aren't we? Innit? Aren't we? Yeah. Right, yeah. That's what we're doing. This fucking puff out here. Fucking David Beckham, innit? Looking like David Beckham without selling me soul. We are in London. We're putting a pod out here right now for the people in the bank for when we get back. Always love recording a pod when we travel. A little bit of a travel diary, I guess. Some observations from this side of the pond. First time in Britain, and we have much to get to. We have a lot of social commentary that we need to kind of break down here. So stay tuned. Something about this hat, this fucking hat, this peak hat I'm wearing here. Traditional, proper Cockney lad. It brings it out, you know. It brings it out. I lost it there. As if I took the hat off for a sec. I took the hat off for a sec. I put the hat back on. It's back on. That's what it is. Put this fucking hat on. I start calling people puffs. Innit? My favourite word. Puff. No son of mine gonna be a fucking puff. But now I take the hat off and I'm an accepting father. My son will be whatever he will be, you know? I think it's great that we have so many cultures from around the world coming to the West and, taking part in Western society over here and adding to the rich culture. Oi! Hold on a sec. What the fucking hat back on? I'm going to tell you how I really feel now, innit? I was down at Portobello Road. I was shopping. I'm shopping for British products, like some a tweed jacket, right? There's fucking Afghans there. I'm Sam Adamo, and this is the Bordello. All right, what's going on, folks? Hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to another episode of the Bordello. Get the shades on. I don't know. Yeah, once we get that Cockney hat on, it's one side of me you get, but once we get these shades on, then I'm back to being my regular self, who's much more tactful, much more dialed in actually than that guy you just saw. They're different. I have different personalities according to my attire. So yeah, we are in London, but I'm still gonna dress as my regular self, and we have a few things to get to here. This pod is not coming out until later this week, but this is being recorded in the immediate aftermath of Italy's friendlies on the weekend. Italy played a couple games in the States. I saw a few people I follow in Miami for the Venezuela game, and I saw a lot of people were getting up to no good. They were having a lot of fun watching Italy play, but also pose with Venezuelan women and say things like, "Hey, great to meet you." Older guys. I saw a couple of older Italian men who were posting about like the people they were meeting at the games, and on their feed they would post, "Look who it is. I met this lady on my travels. Great to meet you." As it, like no chat game whatsoever. Just no. Hey, can I get your number? I'll privately text you, and none of that. Just, hey, let me post on Instagram a picture of me with this Venezuelan vixen. Italian Americans went out to those games in droves, and Italy won both games. Not great games. I think that Ecuador game was not a good game. It was a real snooze fest, but Ecuador kind of treated it like it was, a World Cup quarterfinal. They were going all in. I mean, they were not acting like it was a friendly at all. And yeah, I mean, it obviously wasn't at the game, been in London, but if I had gone to that game, I would have been. I mean, would have kind of sucked, I guess. I mean, it would have been fun to be there, but it would have been sucked to have seen the game play out the way that it did. But it would have been appropriate because it is a very typical Italian national team game, and that goal is scored, 3rd minute, 93rd minute. Just polar ends of the game and nothing in between. Just torturing you in between, barely holding on, to a 1-goal lead. And the first goal goes in early on, and you think, oh, this is gonna be fun. This is gonna be a fun game. Nope, nothing till the end. It's like just bare minimum. Get the goal, we can coast through the game, and at the end, just so you don't complain and say, hey, we won 1-0. We'll get another one at the end. A few guys look good. I like Bellanova. And, Pellegrini's back, and he's maybe one of the best midfielders we have. Very versatile, plays well, going forward, and hopefully he stays healthy. He's never been in a major tournament for us. He's like 28. He'll be 28 this year. And, that's kind of surprising. He's been around so long, but it looks like he's going to get to finally do that now, which will be really cool. There's not much you could read into friendlies, but I will say, so there's some guys that are new that we didn't get to see at all, like Foloruncio didn't play. I heard some people say, because anytime a black guy gets called up to the Italian national team, certain people, not many, but some people will say, hey, he's got to play for his country of origin. And sometimes, they do. Sometimes people born in Europe will play for wherever their parents are from or wherever they were born if it wasn't in a European country. But Foloruncio cannot do that. And it's because I've heard him speak, and he sounds like Paolo Di Canio. That guy cannot play for Nigeria. That guy speaking, if that guy tried to speak English with a bunch of African dudes, I believe his father's Nigerian. I don't care. There's no way that guy speaks Pidgin. There's no way that guy speaks English at any level. The way he speaks Italian, he has an Italian brain. It's too contaminated. It's cooked. He sounds like Tony Effe, the rapper. It's something to behold. It's really one of the strongest Roman accents I've ever heard. So I would have liked to have seen him play. I heard him speak in an interview the other day when he joined Bari a couple of years ago, and I said I fucking love this guy. I want to see him play, and he didn't. And it's too bad. He's having a good season, but he's probably not going to be option A in any case. And Lorenzo Luca didn't play at all, but Retegui scored 2 goals against Venezuela. He's an impressive guy. He's kind of everything you want in a number 9. Maybe because he didn't grow up in Italy. Maybe that's what, it takes. You need to kind of have, developed elsewhere to convert for the Italian national team. He has so little pressure on him. Because he's not Italian. So he doesn't give a shit. So it works. It's kind of perfect, actually. And I'm happy to see him keep playing. Other standouts, otherwise. Fratesi looks good. Like him a lot. don't think Orsolini got a ton of time, but I like him and would probably expect to see him at the Euro in the summer, and it's deserved. Probably see him over Berardi. I think he makes better decisions. So that's encouraging. That's exciting. That's about it. That's all I really got from from the Azzurri games. We're rolling solo here. And you know, one of the prouder moments I ever had, probably like ever, as not just as a soccer fan, as a human. We were at a football match the other day. It's non-league, and the team we're watching is in a really good spot. They're positioned right now in like second. They're in a position where they might be able to go up. It's international break, right? So there's no like top tier football going on. So we decided to go watch like a lower tier team further down the English football pyramid. And the team's doing pretty well. And they ran away with the game and won pretty handily. And at the end of the game, toward the end, when it was clear that the team was going to win, I started to chant. I started chanting, "We are going up. Yeah, we are going up." But, the people around me have been hearing me speak all game to the people I was there with it. And I sounded, North American. So basically, there's this clear thing going on where they know I'm just visiting and kind of gawking. They know I'm not a hardcore fan. So if I start a chant, they're not going to go along with it. But I was able to trick a couple of guys because I kind of disguised my accent. Kind of like if you've ever heard like Adele sing. She doesn't sound British necessarily. She doesn't sound English. She kind of does more than a lot of other artists. But sometimes you can kind of hide your accent. Michael Jackson doesn't necessarily sound American. The Beatles don't necessarily sound English. They kind of sound like they're just singing in English. So I was able to do that. And I went, "We are going up. Yeah, we are going up." And I got a couple of guys to start chanting with me. And then I think after one chant, and after nobody else picking it up, the guy who I duped kind of stopped because I think he was a little embarrassed actually that he got, fooled by the American. I think he kind of looked down. He didn't know where the chant was coming from. He just instinctively, jumped in. And then he kind of looked down and saw it was coming from me. It was like, oh, I gotta opt out. And kind of people, friends of his who he was there with threw him a dirty look like, "Oh, you, mate, you're right, mate. What's wrong with you?" And that's fine. But I still fooled him, and it was fun. And, I think a lot of people were furious, too, because I'm the only one that was chanting that. And, it's not like everyone else was chanting it. And I started, going along with the crowd. I started it, and I guess, maybe there's like a jinx thing there, where they're kind of worried that I'm gonna screw over the team or whatnot. That I'm gonna have put a I don't know, some kind of spell on them. Like now, inevitably, right? If they start doing really poorly, there are people that go to the stadium regularly who are gonna think back to that one time those two idiots came into the stadium and had the audacity to start chanting, "We are going up. Yeah, we are going up." But it's fun because the English have a real desire to sing dumb chants. They don't sing like ultras or like other European fans do, but they sing silly, brainless little melodies. We want Wenger out. Yeah, we want Wenger out type of thing, right? And they're the same throughout the country. And yeah, I mean, it's the reason they work is because when you hear them, you kind of just go along with it unconsciously. It's really hard not to. And it was fun to kind of hook a guy in and trick him, if you will. But it's been fun being here. I am traveling with women. There are women who I'm here with, and I've traveled alone with guys, like with a guy friend or with my father. No women in the cohort of people I'm traveling with, and that's always been fun because you can kind of just do anything. The good thing about being a guy with other dudes when you travel is you'll leave the house in the morning. You might take a little longer to leave the house. You're not like rushed out, like, "Hey, we gotta get to fucking this shop and then this shop and try this pastry and have a whole itinerary." Guys will kind of just say, "Hey, let's chill, take it easy in the morning. Watch the news, take a shit, go out, chill pace, and just walk. Walk around. No itinerary, no transit, no cab. Just walk. just walk for like 6.5 hours straight. You know, the best thing about being a dude on vacation is walking forever and never stopping and not really having any, point of arrival. You can kind of just have a broad idea of what neighborhood you're going in. I've done this with friends before where we say, hey, let's just walk around. I've done this with my father where we've been in a random given city and said, hey, let's just walk by this place and see where it takes us. And there is no, my feet are tired. I need a cab, or let's go back to the apartment. Let's go back to the flat. Sorry, use the correct terminology. Let's go back to the flat. Let's get our bearings. There's none of that. It's we're out. We're not coming back. You know what I'm saying? There's no I got to go back, touch up. There's no I need to take a shit, but I can only shit in, the apartment. I can't shit on the road. I'll take a dump anywhere, restaurant, cafe. I took a dump in a courtyard today. I was in a restaurant today, and there was no toilet paper in the men's bathroom. And I told by the way, there was only one bathroom stall in this restaurant. And I told the waiter after paying my bill. So at this point, he's kind of done with me because he's gotten, he's extracted the money out of me. So his job is kind of done. But I go up to him and I go, mate, can I trouble you for, a roll of toilet paper? There's no toilet paper in the bathroom over there. And he's kind of like, yeah, all right, I got you, whatever, fine. He looks a little defeated and demoralized, but he's like, fine, I get it. I'll put toilet paper in the bathroom. No problem. And he starts like poking around in different drawers and he can't find it. And he kind of looks at me and he goes, oh, mate, he goes, there's a toilet outside. You want to just go out there? So he sent me to an outhouse kind of behind this pub. There was like a courtyard that I wasn't aware of. He sent me to the outhouse to go drop a deuce. And I did, no problem. And I was, back on the road. The fun thing about kind of traveling now is you don't need a tour guide. You don't need a tour guide like back in the day. You don't really need to read about a city in a book or anything. You can kind of just watch a YouTube video about it or, Google stuff. But because now we have the internet, most people have seen, like iconic spots in most famous cities around the world. Just watching random series, movies, reading random articles that you'll find online about some news of what might have happened in this case, say London. And you'll kind of have a bit of a read already of what the important, points of, interest are. You'll know what Westminster is. Most people will know what Westminster is when you come here. So we don't have to kind of plan a day trip to Westminster and learn about it. You kind of, in a hotel room that one time, you were in Mexico, you turned on the BBC and, you saw a parliamentary debate and you kind of saw the dynamic. You don't need it explained to you by a local guy who needs to take you on a private tour of Parliament. You can kind of just walk on over, see if you could pop in, and if you can, you check it out. If not, all right, you look at it from outside and on you go. It's great. On the move. That's the vibe. It's the way I like to kind of travel. I have this one friend who once went to Paris alone, and I think he did like 38,000 steps in a day because he was just too cheap to get a cab, and he never did anything other than walk. He walked like across the city, and that's kind of what you've got to do. You just, especially if you're alone. If you're alone and in the city with nothing to do, just walking around gives you something to stimulate your brain, so you don't lose your goddamn mind. But yeah, I'll say the queen. So the queen, not the queen. What's her name? One of the royals is Cancer, and the people that care about it are people that are not from here. No one who lives here gives a shit about the royals. It's interesting because most people here are not, in London I'm referring to, are not white English Saxons who care about them to the extent that, I don't know, folks who read tabloids do as much, I think, because many of these people are just trying to work and mind their business and earn a living. And then you've got, the sort of typical white British Cockney lad who doesn't really give much of a shit about them either some of the time because he's like, fuck them. They're all twats. I'm working class. I'm working class. I'm fucking working class. I'm from East London. That's where I'm from. That's where my loyalty lies. Right. It's a lot of that. It's a very classist society here. We're staying in a very not up and coming neighborhood. We're in a very uppity, hoity-toity kind of neighborhood, and you could feel it a little bit. It's a real anomaly if you hear a guy sounding like a real fucking Cockney bastard, like a Harry Redknapp type. It's notable. Like I was shopping on Portobello Road the other day, which is in the area that we're in here. It's kind of in a spot with old shops, and it's mostly. They're mostly owned by, I guess, like first generation immigrants. And there was this one guy in a like a clothing shop who had the hat that I had on before. A hat like that. Looked, blue eyes, and came up to me. I was shocked. I thought he was like, Russian or Polish, and then he opens his mouth. He's like, "Oh, you all right?" Yeah. And it's highly unusual to hear that around here. If you will hear any Brits, traditional Brits, It'll be a bit of a more continental English accent, slightly more like that, and a lot of foreign money, tons of foreign money in much of London. Much of London is crawling with Saudi money and Russian money. But what's funny is you will see a lot of Italians over here because, I guess it makes sense. It is a G7 country, but there aren't many places that Italians will travel to. They will travel to the following places, primarily. They will travel to the top 5 places that Italians will travel are outside of Italy. I'm trying to think here. It's probably, Jesus. I'm going to say Paris, London, Barcelona, Miami, and maybe Mykonos. They do love Amsterdam. They like the capitals of other European cities in the western parts of Europe. Amsterdam's a good shout. Some in New York because it's one of the first places you'll dock when you're an Italian or European going to the States. But they love Miami. They disproportionately go to Miami. They disproportionately go to Mykonos. They disproportionately go to Ibiza. Ibiza's another big one. Ibiza might be bigger than Barcelona probably, but yeah, they enjoy traveling to other European cities. You will hear a lot of Italian. You can pick them out, from anywhere. There's some kind of weird combination of their facial hair never goes beyond a certain length. They'll have a Yankees cap, but they look, they look like they are breakable, So they'll have a Yankees cap, but they kind of wear it slightly just ticked up a little bit. Translucent sunglasses, maybe a dangling earring, and a beard, but it never goes as long as mine. It's always tight beard, and kind of a little bit of a hunch a lot of the time. A little bit of a hunch. What do you wish? They they don't know where they are. No one, they try, but they kind of just, they like gawking. I've always enjoyed hearing Italian in the wild abroad in other countries because all they're kind of doing is kind of whining to each other. If they're in a group, you'll hear them you'll kind of hear them do a lot of this. It'll be a lot of, non lo so, l'avevo visto prima, però ora it's a lot of kind of, I don't know where I am. Or it's, it's a lot of minchia, guarda che macchina. It's a lot of that. It's kind of gawking or che ne so, kind of that energy. And the fun thing about the UK is it really is just kind of, this isn't really a scintillating take, but for all intents and purposes, it's kind of just gay America. Kind of. In that you'll have a couple of, financial epicenter. You'll have really just one financial epicenter, right? Which is like New York. London kind of doubles as LA and New York for the UK, I'll say. It kind of doubles as both. But, London is to the UK what New York is to the States, and like Birmingham, Manchester, Liverpool is to the UK what like Philadelphia and fucking Cleveland, or like Boston. A lot of the more kind of working class cities are to the States. U.S. is obviously a lot more vast, but you have a lot of poor eating, a lot of ignorance. But then in the big cities, you kind of have people that are a little bit more continental, a little bit more aware of what's going on, and a lot of really insufferable people from abroad that are coming to kind of live out a fantasy. You see a lot of that in certain neighborhoods. In neighborhoods like the one I'm describing to you here where we are, everyone on the street pretty much is done up, and it's not because everyone here is stylish, it's because everyone here wants to kind of cosplay. So, yeah, New York has that as well, where there's a lot of cosplaying. It's a lot of kind of doing the thing that, in certain areas, right? Some of the more uppity areas of New York, there's a lot of, this is how people dress here, so this is what I'm going to wear. The number of Adidas Sambas I've seen on women since being here is astounding. Is it half the women I've seen here? I mean, it might be. It might be half the women I've seen here are in Adidas Sambas. And if you just look out the window behind me, like in the middle of the day, you will see women in cream trench coats or gray trench coats. That's it. It's one of those two. They've all got a long trench coat. Nobody really, and you could usually tell that they're not from here as a result. You can usually tell. The worst people are blending in anywhere. Though they try very hard, I think it's fair to say the worst tourists at blending in are the Japanese. Without a doubt. Anywhere they go, they always try to put together these really cute outfits. And they are. But there's like a really weird tell. Besides the obvious, physical differences that might set them apart from the typical Western human. But it's the hat. It's the hat. It's all about the hats. The Japanese love wearing like a beret in Europe. They'll always go out with a beret or like a funky toque or something, and it's like turquoise, and it's got like like devil horns on it. But otherwise, the outfit is put together. They've got like marl print with like pantyhose and high boots, but they throw on like a yellow fucking vibrant hat. It really throws everything off quite a bit. I'm getting looks off to the side. What's going on? Audience member, you wish not participate. You threw me a look when I referred to the trench coats. Why are you sad? It's what so what you will find here is, here's the interesting thing. You will have a lot of girls here. A lot of women. I'll say, some of the men too. Some of the men are most of the men, I'll say, yeah, actually, most of the men from abroad are putting in more thought to their outfit that is respectable, including myself. I'm ashamed to say. Every day you go out here, you kind of want to, granted, I am here with other people who are kind of happy to dress up, and I don't want to, look like a slouch among them. But there's a real mental illness you could observe here, where anyone that's kind of going out trying to dress up. This is the case in Paris as well. It's the case in like Milan as well. I would argue, when you go out here, and you're not from the town, when you're not from the city, you kind of dress up like you're in a movie. It's a lot of dressing up like you're the main character of a movie. And you want to take pictures, and you're going to show your friends back home, or your cousins, or whatever, your mom, your aunt, your girlfriends, and they all kind of go, "Oh my God, I'm obsessed with you. I want your life. I want your life." That's kind of what a lot of women who travel to places like London are aiming for. Is, I'm going to post stuff so that the girls I went to high school with are going to say, "Fuck, I want her life. I want her life. I'm here selling insurance in I don't know, in Columbus. And look at Jen. Jen is in Paris right now, and she's at Café de Flore. She's at L'Avenue. She's at L'Avenue having croissant. I mean, Jen is. Look at her. I mean, just like Lisa Vanderpump. When Lisa Vanderpump goes to Paris, she goes to L'Avenue, and look at that, Jen from high school. She's there too. I mean, Jen has made it. That's kind of the energy here. If I do come back, if I should be so lucky as to come back, I'd probably...
What about for the people that dress nicely at home, but you're just shitting on? They always dress nicely.
You're off, Mike. What's that? What about people that always dress nicely? Do you have anything you'd like to add? There's a mic right there. Do you want me to turn the mic up?
What if the people dress nicely at home?
What if there are people that dress nicely at home?
So they wear the same outfits.
So they wear the same outfits.
That's not very nice to generalize.
That's not very nice to generalize. I'm observing that which I'm seeing. There are different outfits that work in different cities, obviously, and style is pretty universal now. But no, there's more effort made. There's more effort made when you're in London or New York and you're there for 3 days. If you're in New York for 3 days, you're packing 3 kick-ass outfits. 3 kick-ass outfits. It's very rare that you're wearing a kick-ass outfit every day back home.
On a Saturday at home, I'm wearing a kick-ass outfit.
I wasn't talking about you specifically. I'm talking about everyone who I'm seeing here. The many people on the streets. I'm calling out my own behavior in some ways. I bought a peak hat. I that's not me. I'm cosplaying. It's fun to cosplay. That's kind of the point of traveling somewhere, is to try to pretend you're from there. There's 2 types of people that kind of There's 2 types of there's 3. There's 3 types of people that travel places. First person who travels anywhere. Regular tourist. Dresses like shit. Backpack. Does not give a fuck. Wants to see stuff. Follows an itinerary. Still uses guidebooks. Back in the day, at one point in time, would have traveled around with a map in their pocket. If they have sunglasses on, it's for function. They will wear sunscreen if it is the summer. All of the time. No matter what. Do they wear sunscreen back home when they go out into their city? No. But they're on vacation, so they do now. For some fucking reason. And they're going to areas that nobody lives in. That nobody should go to. Wherever the Foot Locker is, wherever the Burger King is, they'll find it and they'll walk around there. And they'll read about the history of that thing. And they'll go inside churches to, learn. Then you have a second type of tourist. This is the person I was referring to before, who will go into like a neighborhood that they find dreamy, that reminds them of, the life of the lifestyle of the rich and famous, and they will try to cosplay as a person local to there. Then the third type of person who travels is a traveler who doesn't give a shit really about, and these people can still be annoying, but it's a person who doesn't give a shit about necessarily seeing specific things or trying to act like the best version of a person from that city, but they're trying to often act like a commoner as best they can. And so they will still kind of do things that are a little patronizing, and they might gawk a little bit, but they won't do it, like an annoying tourist who pulls out a camera and takes pictures of stuff, because they want to kind of disappear. They kind of just want to exist in silence and be a fly on the wall and anonymous. So they'll try to dress up as, in as unflashy a way as possible. And they will walk around areas where tourists typically do not go. But they will do it, in an annoying way where they're like, yeah, I want to go here. There's no tourists here. It's like, hey, buddy, shut up. What do you think you are? Who are you trying to prove, What are you trying to prove? That's me on vacation some of the time. I'm kind of a cross between the second and third. But I like learning stuff sometimes, like the first people, but I do it covertly because I'm like the third guy at heart, which means I'm kind of ashamed of the fact that I'm not from whatever place, and I don't want to be outed. And that's the weird thing about speaking English here, is because you immediately get looked at like an American if you're Canadian and speak with a relatively kind of continental North American sounding accent. You will sound American to these people, and they will chalk you up as being an American. Being an Englishman in the United States has to be so cool because you're never ashamed of how you speak. You know that people will hear you speak and think, wow, cool. I'll fuck you. Being an American over here should yield shame. Just when you speak, you should kind of be a little sheepish because too many are not. And by not being sheepish, they're insufferable and they give a bad reputation to, the humble, do-good American tourists or North American tourists. And as a Canadian who sounds like this, the English are, unfortunately not really able to distinguish between a Canadian-ish accent and an American-ish accent. So they'll kind of just chalk you up as being an American. And that's where it pays to speak another language. That's where it pays to speak Italian in public, because people will know you're Italian, but at least it feels more respectable. No one really wants to be an American abroad, especially the Americans abroad who kind of are self-aware a little bit, who want to pay a little bit of reverence to how things are done and who don't want to be morphed in with the bad ones, can we say, the annoying ones. So as a result, what you'll get is you'll get these Americans who are kind of just, shy and want to be unproblematic, but I don't know. People still pass judgment, man. People still like the States. People like the idea of traveling there, and I guess that there is a certain luster that being American has. People like it if there's an American in their school. For example, if you're in Europe, wow, we got an American in school. That's cool. But people don't like the Americans out in the wild, I find, on the streets. Because where there's too many of them, it can become annoying. It doesn't sound good. It's not a pleasant sounding, accent. It really isn't. People from New Zealand must have a hell of a time traveling, because they sound like Oz, but they're not Oz. So anyone who hears them speak will just assume they're Aussie, and then for the New Zealander to say, oh, actually from New Zealand, mate. It's kind of, people are kind of like, oh, yeah, sorry, you can't really tell the difference. You're still gonna look at you the same way. I don't know. That doesn't make it much better, If you don't like Aussie people, right, and you hear a fucking New Zealander speaking, you're kind of gonna say, all right, this is one of those people I don't like. You're not really gonna think, hey, maybe this is a guy from New Zealand. It's really, it's really kind of, it's a case where you will just pass judgment and that's it. I had a horrible interaction with an American yesterday. I wanted to watch a men's football league game that was taking place, and the game I wanted to watch was not on TV, apparently, according to the TV guide, it was on TV in Britain, but I guess not every pub shows it, so wasn't really sure where to go. So I walked into a local pub near where we're staying, and I approached this kid at the bar, and I go, hey, can you play whatever, this game? Can you change the game on the TV to this game? From this game to that game? He goes, can't do it. Just can't do it. We're showing the Aston Villa game. Fucking look at the TV. It's women's football. It's Aston Villa women. I go, women's football. I go, is anybody watching this? He goes, and he's American. The kid behind the bar is an American. We're in London, but he's an American, I guess, student or whatever. Guy, trying to run, I don't know, who ran a woman over or something and escaped the state. I don't fucking know. Whatever. Maybe his parents shipped him off here. I don't know. But I asked him, is anyone watching? Is anyone watching this? He goes, I am actually. And me not believing that anyone would just unironically watch women's football. I go, would you gamble? And he goes, yeah, a little. I was like, you know what? That's kind of revolting that you would admit that to me, and think it's okay. And that you, the guy working here, should have any say at all over me, the customer, but I kind of respected him telling it to me anyway. But yeah, I mean, so yeah. What's going on? Is anyone watching this? Yeah, I'm watching it. You gamble? Ooh, is that you're watching this fucking women's football game? Yeah, actually, I am. And he wasn't saying it like, actually, I am. Is there a problem with that? He was kind of like sheepish. He was like, yeah, a little, bro. He's kind of like, oh, this guy will get me. He's one of my own. He's an American. I wish I just thought to tell him, oh, you fucking scumbag, and just kind of turned and walked away. Because he probably thought I'd be like, cool. I'd be like, yeah, come on, bro. You can be honest with me. What do you gamble? You got a little action on this? He goes, yeah, a little. Imagine if I just gone, you fucking dirtbag. You fucking dirtbag, you. And just walked off, That's how I wish that would have gone. But, it's fun to be here. They have a Chinatown here. The fun thing about Chinatown anywhere is it just feels like China. Like, literally. Once you get into a Chinatown, if it's in, like, a sufficiently hip area, you just become swarmed by people. You're walking in the streets. There are no cars passing by. There are guys on bikes dragging, like, a carriage behind them. Like, it's insane. It just you go into a Chinatown in any major fucking global city, becomes straight China, dude. There's tons of people. Can't look anywhere without, running into someone, and guys on bikes fucking weaving around people in the streets. So, the Cockney accent is great. When we went to the game we went to the other day, the non-league game, it was kind of in a local suburb, and so that was really the first time we actually heard what you'll kind of see on TV when you think of, like, typical, I guess, British society. You've got to go out to like where people live, man. You got to go where people live and where nobody buys properties from, abroad. Usually the place you'll get the most authentically local experience is the place where nobody is sinking foreign money into. No Saudi money. There's no Google. There's no, there's no tech startups fucking set up shop here. There's no designer stores. There's no, people doing a 6-month internship from whatever school in France. There's no, Belgian immigrants. It's just Brits in homes with yards, living, ordinary, boring lives, going to watch the local club, and just, laughing at you for stupid shit. Going up to the stadium for the game the other day, the stadium we went to was like in a field. It was kind of a newer ground, so it was like on a plot of greenery. It's like a new sporting kind of complex. It wasn't just the stadium. They have like a gym there and whatever. It's a nice new project. You need to like access it through a gate. It's not off a street right behind like flat buildings or homes like in a lot of other small town clubs. And to get to the stadium, we're walking along this like path and maybe a couple of football fields long. And there's like a small hill to our left, like a little patch of green grass to get to the stadium. We have to walk along to get, to the ground. And there's a little hill along which we're walking. And over that hill, you cannot see anything. There are like houses behind a gate. And I had to pee really badly. So I hopped over that hill to go take a leak in the shrubs, like kind of facing, a couple of people's yards. And there are guys from way down the path that could kind of see over the hill because they're not looking directly at the hill. They're looking at it kind of from like a 45-degree angle. So they could see me pissing. And I'd been on the tube. So I had a tube hand. So I had like, like a hand that I was kind of grabbing onto, I don't know, like a bar. So I had like, kind of like when I make cutlets, you got like one hand wet, one hand dry, you can't like cross-contaminate chicken or veal, whatever, especially chicken. So you'll have one hand touch the chicken and you'll have another hand like throw breadcrumbs on and touch your phone, whatever. It's clean. You got the clean hand, you got the dirty hand. One hand, wet, one hand dry. So I kind of had that situation going on. So I had my phone in my right hand. My left hand is contaminated from the tube. It's the tube hand. So I kind of pop my cock out with my right hand and I'm peeing like this, no hands. So it takes a while because I don't want to touch my penis with my tube hand, with my subway hand. So I've kind of got to, just shake it. I kind of got to just Just give it a little shimmy. So I'm standing there for a while, and these lads, like down the path, see me standing there for a long time, and I come back over the hill. By the time I'm coming over the hill, they're like, I'm facing them. They'd see me for like, a whole stretch, maybe 100 meters. They're walking for like 100 meters while they, approaching me, seeing me piss from afar. And as I'm going over the hill, they're like, all right, yeah. Oh, that's a 20-second piss you had there, lad. And in that moment, I was so embarrassed to answer them because I understood them, but to answer as my authentic self, I have to sound like this. And they immediately know I'm not a lad. I'm not one of them. And I can kind of still make them laugh because we speak the same language. But I had a decision to make in that moment. And that was, do I respond and say, "Oi, mate, don't fucking judge yet," or, right, let me be. Or do I just sound like myself? And I chose to be authentic, and I sounded like myself. But anyway, I just kind of, I told them where I was from, and one of them's kind of just drinking a beer out in the open. He's like, that's fucking meant. He's from London. I'm turning Geordie here. Oh, that's fucking mental. He says, what does he say? Fucking mad, innit? Fucking mad, innit? Canada, eh? Canada, right? Yeah, fucking mad, innit? That's all he had to say. He just goes, that's mental. That's mental. That's proper mental. I don't think they asked. I think I kind of just said, yeah, I'm from Canada. I'm just kind of here for here for a laugh. I don't remember how it came up, but I brought it up. I addressed it. Yeah, and one of them didn't give a shit. He's just like, oh yeah, proper. He kind of one of those. He had nothing to say, but he just drink it. Oh, yeah, proper. Go and then town, whatever team name was. And yeah, I mean, I was really pissed in that moment that I didn't just think to become Italian. I was joking about this the other day. It would have been great if coming over the hill, these guys are making fun of me, going, "Oh, lad, you have a good 20-second piss, yeah." It would have been great if I just pretended to be an Italian man and gone, oi, lads, don't take my piss. I'm taking a piss. Don't take my piss. You're taking my piss. Like I'm saying, don't take the piss. Don't take the piss out of me. Like I'm deliberately fucking up. Oi, lads, I'm taking a piss. So don't take my piss. Don't take my piss. They would have gone, that's fucking, that's fucking wicked, governor. I don't know. He's a cheeky bugger. He's a cheeky lad, this fucking Italian. I realized how bad I am at doing the local accent from being here for a while. I'm realizing how bad I am. I just need that hat. With the hat, I'm good. With the hat, it brings it out of me. Without it, I'm kind of a man without a country and without a fucking county and without a class, right? Putting the hat on makes it very clear. Oi, working class, English, wogs out. Up the Lions, Millwall. West Ham might be the biggest club here, by the way. West Ham might be the most. This is probably not the case at all, but Chelsea's massive, and I know fucking Arsenal are huge throughout, the city because of. From what I understand, they're more of like kind of everyone's team. But like West Ham are kind of the club of the, the East End. They're kind of like the, real typical Cockney lads club. And you see that a little bit. You do kind of get hints of that. When you go into like bookstores, you'll see a lot of, you'll see West Ham books, you'll see West Ham merch. You won't see it in the touristy areas, but you'll see it in kind of local shops, You don't really realize what an important club they are until you kind of come here and see it from abroad. It's kind of probably between them and Chelsea. I'd say probably Chelsea, maybe Crystal Palace, right? Crystal Palace, Chelsea, West Ham. I'm gonna piss a lot of people off and say I think those are the three most classically London clubs. I'm gonna drop that grenade there and end the pod. Follow me at I'm Sam Adamo. Like the video if you haven't. Appreciate you tuning in. We'll be back next week from Montreal according to regular programming. This has been fun. And I don't know. I mean, hopefully I make it back in one piece and that by the time I'm listening, by the time you're listening to this, I'm not dead, It's Sort of a bit of a morose point to end on, but we're pre-banking this and we're putting it out. We're scheduling it, and it's going to come out whether I die or not on the way back. So this could be the last pod ever if I die on the flight back over the Atlantic, or I'll be back next week at regular programming according to schedule. Thank you for tuning in. Oi, oi. I don't know what that was. That's the thing about being like too into British culture as a guy from abroad is you kind of will consume a lot. You'll consume the gambit. The gambit. I don't know. The gambit? Is it the gambit? You fucking neither of us knows. We're fucking both potatoes. You'll consume a bunch of content. You'll consume reality TV. You'll consume football. You'll consume news, and you get a really wide range of accents and stuff, and they all sound kind of fun and easy to imitate, but you don't know when to necessarily distinguish between them, and they kind of all morph. And that's how you sound like a dumb fuck who's trying to sound like a Brit. And that's a thing I struggle with, and I'm gonna work on that between now and when we leave. That's my goal. I'm gonna have. As a matter of fact, I'm going out for dinner tonight. I'm going to order my food in a Cockney accent. Cockney. I'm gonna do Cockney, and lunch tomorrow I'm gonna go banker. Banker's very easy. Day number one of being a banker here in London. There's a proper place where we go out and have drinks. We have drinks every night because we're cheeky lads. It's a little, you know what? Maybe that's kind of Cockney right there. Maybe I'm just kind of overdoing it, you know? I'm doing it like the most racist guy ever. I'm kind of overdoing it when, it's the soul of that hat. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like there was this one guy a few years ago. I think he got arrested for hate speech, which is kind of a tenuous. I mean, it's a hateful thing to say, I guess, because he had clear venom in his voice when he said this, but it's a little tenuous whether this should constitute as hate speech, but it's not nice speech anyway. There was a guy at Chelsea who called Raheem Sterling when he was playing with Manchester City. He called him a black cunt. I remember Sterling was taking a throw, and there was a guy who apparently camera zoomed in on this guy, and mouth readers, did their thing, and they identified him. They said, ban this guy. He called Sterling a black cunt. When I try to sound like, London, it's almost like I'm kind of trying to sound like that guy, So that's overdoing it. You've got to kind of dial it a little bit. Don't try too hard. That's the problem. Whenever the Brits try to go American, they always overdo it. You can't. You gotta be cool, But anyway, till next time, listeners. Thanks for tuning in. We'll catch you next time again. Like the video, sub if you're new. I'm Sam Adamo, and maybe we'll see you on the other side. Alla prossima. Ciao.